Welcome once again. Uh, I think this time we are going with a new chapter in paper one. Okay, that is C++. I think C++ is very important. Um I think it's a programming language, or we also call it as a object-oriented programming language. So let me just introduce uh, about this language. C++ is multi-paradigm programming language that supports object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming, in the sense, I think it is related to real world. Okay, like whatever the problems we want to solve, that can be real world problems can be solved, or I think like calculations, or creating some softwares, that also can be done. This language is created by Baron Stopes uh, in 1983, and at Bell Lab. Okay, it is in I think US. C++ is an extension of C programming, and the programs written in C language can also be run on C++ compiler. Okay, I think you will be thinking, what is a compiler here? Compiler is basically which compiles the program and try to execute your programs. Okay, the development of C++ actually begins 4 years before its release in 1979. It did not start with the name C++. Its first name was C with classes. Okay, so it was not directly named as C++. It was written as C with classes. So this is like just an introduction or the history of your C++. Okay, now we also have like in late 1983, C with classes was first used for AT&T. Again, it is in US internal programming needs. Its name was changed to C++ later in the same year. So in 1983 it was called as C++. It is of course also used in wide range of other application domains, notable graphic programming. So I think it is used in graphical programming. C++ also supports inheritance through the class derivation. Now we'll be thinking, what is inheritance and all. I think this concept is not this year. I think in 12th standard we will see what is inheritance. Dynamic binding, which provides virtual class functions. So all these concepts we will try to study. Okay, whatever is written here. Now they are just giving you a difference. I think those who are having the knowledge of C, let's see what is the difference between C and C++. Okay, so can you see, C is a procedural language. Procedural language means simple language. Okay, C++ is non-procedural, or that is known as object-oriented language. This is also this language is not object-oriented. That means securities and are less in this, and securities are more in this. Top-down approach is used in program design. Bottom-up approach is adopted in program design. Okay, top-down approach, bottom approach. Yeah, definitely we'll see when we'll see the program. Multiple declaration of global variables are allowed. Multiple declaration of global variables are not allowed. Okay, now what are global variables? That also we will see. C requires all the variables to be defined at the start of the scope, or whenever you start the program. But C++ allows the variables anywhere in the scope at the time of its first use. Okay, so before you use it, you should declare it. Okay, variables. Now what are variables? I think right now we can just variables, you can say something which hold the values. Okay, they are very important. In C++, sorry, in C, memory allocation function. So this is one of the function, and cancel memory allocation functions are used for memory allocation, and free functions used for memory deallocating. So these are the two functions which were used for allocation and deallocation, memory allocation and deallocation. Okay, in C++, new and delete operators were used for memory allocating and deallocating. Okay, allocation and deallocation. So they have this two functions. For this is for allocation, this is for deallocation. Now this is to create a new memory, that means allocation, and to delete or deallocation is used for delete operators. So instead of using functions, they are having operators. Okay, now let's see uses of C++ language, where it is used. C++ used by the program to develop software, computer software. So most of the softwares can also be created in C++. The code behind it, so coding is done in this. It is used to create general system softwares, used to build drivers for various computer devices. I think you easily understand that driver means I think they are also softwares. Like suppose we can have a driver for printer. Okay, like we get a CD, in that drivers are installed. Suppose your audio is not working, so we have to install drivers. If your printer is not working properly, sometimes they tell you to go install the drivers. So what are drivers? Drivers are mostly some softwares which tell one machine to second machine to understand their language, or they are just going with compatibility. Okay, softwares for servers and softwares for specific applications. So whatever the softwares you want to design, that can also be designed in C++, used in creation of video games. So I think video games coding can also be done in this language. Okay, advantages of C++. What are the advantages? C++ is relatively low level and system programming language. It has a large community. It is relatively clear and mature standard, modularity, reusability and readability. Okay, reusability means you can also write the code once and you can reuse it. I think that concept is like inheritance, just now you have seen in the previous slides. Okay, now let's see what are the disadvantages. This is also very important. Data is global or local. Okay, that means variables they are talking. It emphasizes on instructions but not on data. Okay, then it can generally heavy if not carefully. That means heavy in the sense you will not able to understand if you don't pay attention and all. Data is global and global data does not have security. Okay, so they are telling data is global and local, so global data don't have securities. And remember that don't ignore C++ this year, because it is also there for 12th standard. Okay, so I hope you will see that you do the maximum in this. Now let's start C++. I think to understand any language, I think we are having like we also study our English language by some alphabets like A, B, C, D and all. Okay, then we learn some digits and all. So what they are also known as character set. So character set is an alphabet, digit or a special symbol. Okay, so I think we will use it. It is used to represent information. So whatever the information is there, that can be used by the character set. So character set will include not only alphabets, not only digits, not only special characters, everything. Okay, every language allows only certain characters to be used in a program. The collection of such characters is called a character set. So I hope you can see alphabets, digits and special characters. Okay, every language has its own character set. Like in Hindi we have, I think in regional language also we have some different characters. Okay, so I think alphabets everyone know. I think capital is different, small is different, like small capital A B C D, small A B C D. Digits, I think 0 to 9 makes all the digits. Then you are having special symbols. So whatever the symbols are there on the keyboard, okay, I think almost all the symbols they have used. Okay, So these are the symbols which are going to be used in our C++ programming. These are the characters, these are the digits. So I hope you understood what is character set, the collection of all such characters. All such characters means alphabets, digits and special symbols. I hope it is clear. Now let's go with a new word known as token. Now what do you mean by tokens? The smallest individual unit in a program are called token. So this is a very important sentence, like a very small unit in a program is called token. So in C++ mostly we will be learning programs, but before we start learning programs you should know some similar different terms. So token is the smallest individual unit. Okay, it is commonly name given to the similar items. Okay, C++ has following tokens: keywords, identifiers, constants, strings and operators. So these keywords are like the words whose meaning is already known to you. They are known as keywords. Then we will see what are identifier, constants, strings and operators as we'll go on. A C++ program consists of these tokens and white spaces. I think white spaces means some of them are escape characters used with slash, backslash. We will see all this when we'll write some programs. The program is written as per the syntax rules of the language. Now syntax rules, or you can say, I think they follow some specific rule for writing this and you cannot change it. So they are written as it is, so we also have to follow that, some rules. The syntax rules are grammatical rules for writing programs. Like in English we have to follow some grammar. Okay, same way here also we have to follow some rules, and these rules are known as syntax rules. Okay, now this is a very important part, variable. Now what do you mean by variable? Variable is a name given to a memory location where different constants are stored. I think just now we have seen tokens. So in that we are having constant words. Okay, or you can say values. Constant here means values are stored. I think in maths we write a is equal to 5, b is equal to 7, like that. So a becomes a variable there and 6 becomes a constant or a value. These locations can contain integer, real, character, constant. I hope you understand. Integer means they don't have decimal values. Real means they will have decimal values. Okay, that means in fraction. Characters, as you already know, a, b, c, d, like that. Okay, the type of variables depends on the type of constant it can handle. Okay, now variables, one more definition of variables. Variables are something which hold the value during the program execution. Okay, variables will always hold a value. Okay, now I just written a syntax. Syntax means rule. Now the rule to declare a variable is data type space variable 1, variable 2, then semicolon. I think like in English we used to have full stop after every statement. In the same way, in this case we are having a semicolon. Semicolon is also known as a terminating operator or end of the statement. Now the example here is, now just wait. I think can you see we are having int. I think I have to change the color. Just wait. So I'll just change the color. Okay, so I think int here is int, float, character, they are known as data type. Okay, and what is a, x, z, they are known as variables. Now what is the use of these variables? Variables will always hold a value. For example, I think can you see here int is written. Int means integer, so it will hold only integer value. Float means real value, decimal value. Character means it will store only character values. Okay, now I think I'll just give you some example. Like suppose a is equal to, okay, suppose if I write a is equal to 6, this is correct because this is the integer value. But suppose if I write x is equal to 7 point, I think point, it will not okay, 0.5. So this becomes a real value. And for characters, for example, y is a variable here. So characters are mostly written in single quotes, remember that. Okay, suppose I want to write a, so this becomes a character. Just wait. So remember that this is an integer variable, so a is equal to 6. I have just written, you will be thinking from where 6, 7.5 and a arrives. I think I just taken an example. Like here the remember that always LHS will always, that is left hand side, will always hold the value of right hand side. So 6 will be stored in a variable, x will be 7.5 will be stored in x variable, and a will be stored in variable known as y. Now you will be thinking why only a, because I have assumed. So int means integers, float means fraction, character means like a b c d or whichever the characters. Not only a b c d, like at the rate or any other special characters are also. Now I think variables are very very important. In the same way, data type, I think here you can see the rule. Data type, what do you mean by data type? Data type means they will always they are very important. They will tell the variables which type of value to hold, that is whether to hold integer value, float value, character value or double value. So I think in from here it gives a very very important information, that it commands that int means he cannot hold any value. He a has to be written in a has to store integer value. Same way x will not store any type of value. It will store only the value which is told or which is written before it. I think it is clearly telling that you have to store fractional value. Float means fractions. Okay, y means y is again a variable here, but it cannot store any value which he wants. It can store only character values, so that's why we have written a character. So I hope you got it. Now that's why I've just repeat this. Data type will always tell the variable which type of value to hold, like integer value, float value, character value or double value. Now rules. Now these are also very very important rules for variables. I think everywhere we have to follow some rules. So variables will also follow some rules. Variable name is a combination of alphabets, digits and underscore. Okay, so variable will always not be alphabets only. Like in my case I've just written alphabets, but you can have a combination of, can you see the combination of alphabets, digits and underscore. The variable name cannot start with digit. This is a very important rule. For example, I'll just write and show you. For example, suppose if I write int, okay, a1 is a variable. Let me write in capital. Suppose a1 is a variable, this is okay. But suppose if I write 3b, okay, then it is wrong, because as a rule says that it should start with a character. Okay, it cannot start with a digit. The only special character is underscore. So that means if you write like this, underscore b, this is okay, this is valid, this is valid, but this is invalid. I hope you are getting, because according you have to follow some rules. Now what is the first rule? Combination of alphabets, digits and underscore. But the second rule says that it should not start with digit. So if it starts with digit, that becomes wrong. If it starts with character, no problem. If it starts with special character, only one special character is allowed. Can you see the fourth rule? No special symbol other than underscore can be used in the variable name. Okay, now the third rule is again a very simple rule. I just write and show you. Uppercase, lowercase are distinct. For example, suppose if I write ABC and if I write capital AB, okay, capital ABC. Now for when we pronounce, that time these two variables are same, ABC, ABC. But for computer or for this programming language, they are different. I hope you understood. This is a variable, ABC is a variable, because we have not left any space, and this is also a variable, and they will be treated as two different variables, not the same variable. So I hope, again I'll tell you what are the rules. The rules are variable can be any combination. Not every time you have to write combinations. Sometimes if you want to write only characters, sometimes if you want to go for combinations, no problem. But second rule is very important. They cannot start with digit. They have to start with character. Okay, uppercase and lowercase, I hope you understood. No special symbol other than underscore is used. That also you understood. So I hope you got it. Now let's go with some other yeah, I think these are the types. C++ data types. Data types are divided into three groups, that is primary data types, user defined data types, and derived data types. One meta. Primary data types are also known as built-in. Okay, built-in data types or built-in, one minute, built-in data types. Okay, and or sometimes they are also known as primary data types. These are the examples. Primary data types or built-in data types. Example is int, float, character, void, and one more is there. I think that is, we call it as double. Okay, double is also one of the primary data type or built-in data types. Okay, I think just now I told you what is data type. Data type will tell you which type of value to hold. So it will tell you integer value, float and double are almost same. There's size differences there. Suppose that we will see afterwards. Okay, character, void, all these are data types. User defined data types, I think this we will see in 12th standard, that is structure, union. Class is very important, as per C++ is there. Enumeration, these are your user defined data types. Derived data types like arrays, functions, pointers, reference. So right now you just remember that we are going to use very important in this is data type, primary data types and functions. That we'll see when we'll go with some more slides. Okay, now I think we are coming with functions. Now functions are very important. Like just now we are having Christmas or New Year or Diwali. So we or some birthdays are there. So we also prepare, that is a function for us. So functions, we do some specific tasks. So what is a function? Function is a set of statements to perform some task. I think you understand. Task means some work. So it will carry out some work. Okay, like in our normal functions also, we clean our house, we decorate and all. So same way functions will carry out some task. Okay, every C++ function has at least one function. Sorry, every C++ program should have at least one function, that is, which is main. Main is a function. Now can you see this brackets? Okay, the brackets like this, 1 minute, the brackets like round brackets or this type of brackets are also very important. They are known as parentheses. Okay, so every C++ program, wherever you see this kind of brackets, they become a function, and all most trivial programs can define additional function. And most of the programs will not have only main function, they will have some other functions also. Now syntax for function. So this is a syntax or rule, a return type, function name, these brackets and parameters, then the body, or you can say this is a block. Inside this they write some functions. Okay, or in simple words, they are also known as some statements. Okay, so right now you will be familiar with this when we'll write some programs. Now this is our first program. Okay, mostly I think those who are having knowledge of HTML, we open notepad and we'll write, but there is a software for this. Okay, there you have to write. Now can you see this green in color? They are also known as comments. Okay, comments or some remarks, you can say. they are just telling you like what is this. So they are telling that this is a header file. What is this is a function, main function. So they are, and what is this is the output statement. Okay, so they are just giving you some remark or narration or just an explanation about this statement. So hash include, then can you see this angular brackets iostream.h. Now what do you mean by iostream? IO stands for input output. So I think mostly if you don't write this header file, then you cannot, H stands for header file. If you don't write this, then we cannot do any input, we cannot take any input, and we cannot display any output. So this is a very important header file. Okay, now why we have included this? Because this is C out. Can you see C out stands for console output. By default your console output is your screen. Okay, on that you will be getting a message or the output. Now what will be the output? Whatever you write in double quotes, can you see this double quotes are there, that is hello will be printed, and can you see /n. So that means they, like how we are having a enter key, same way it will be behaving like an enter key only. Leave one line and then it will print hello. Okay, now what do you mean by this? This is a block. I think just now we have seen the rule. So here we can see this is the start, this is the end, curly braces. Okay, now int main, can you see here also return type is int, and main is a function. Now you will be thinking int is a data type, but with functions they will be called as return type. So don't get confused, when we will see more programs that time it will be more clear. So this is a very simple program just to print hello. Okay, so I think in this slide or in this session we have understood only introduction, then we have seen advantages, disadvantages, uses. Then very important two things we have seen, like variables, what are variables, what are data types, and we have also written types of data types. Then we have just written a simple program. Okay, so I hope you understood. We'll meet in the next session. Thank you.